Today I'm going to teach you that literary essayists dig deep into the text they are writing about, reading critical scenes closely to look for nuance and detail, and then they use writing to say what they think the text is really saying. This is what's entailed in writing about a theme, reading closely to see how your thinking about the theme might evolve. So previously, you went through several steps to look for themes in your text. You found a problem or issue that was explored in your text. You reflected on parts of your text that pertain to the issue. You asked yourselves what the story aimed to teach about the issue, and then you wrote long to grow your ideas. In All Summer in a Day, I wrote about the idea of jealousy can hurt people. But the next step that I want to teach you today is that essayists go back to the text to look a little closer and see if there is more there, hiding in the details of certain scenes. To do that, it helps to look for multiple scenes in the story where that issue is present. So if I'm thinking about how jealousy hurts people in All Summer in a Day, I might list a few scenes that I think are critical scenes for that idea. What do you think? Which scenes or moments would you call critical scenes for the idea that jealousy hurts people? So let's see, I have a list. Definitely the part where they are talking about Margot remembering the sun. And then there's a part where she's looking out the window remembering the sun. And when they put her in the closet. And then the ending scene when they remember her. So I think my first idea that jealousy hurts people is a good idea, but it's not great. It's my rough draft idea. And one thing I know that I emphasize to you is that by returning to a text and looking at the details, your thinking grows and changes and becomes more interesting. So let's choose a scene. Let's choose a scene where they are deciding to lock Margot up. It's when William, the antagonist in the story, suggests that they should do it. I'm going to reread this part. I want you to look for details that connect to the idea that jealousy hurts people. The biggest crime of all was that she had come here only 5 years ago from Earth, and she remembered the sun, and the way the sun was, and the sky was when she was 4 in Ohio. And they had been on Venus all their lives, and they had been only 2 years old when the last sun came out, and had long since forgotten the color and the heat of it and the way it really was. But Margot remembered. Do you notice that the text says that Margot's past on Earth is a crime? That word seems especially important. It's like the other children are so jealous that they see Margot as doing something bad to them, like stealing or hurting them. And all she is doing is remembering something they have forgotten. She can't help it. She can't help who she is. This makes me think that the original idea that this text is teaching us that jealousy hurts people is not quite it. I'm going to write out some of my thoughts, pushing myself to connect the idea I'm having with the details I've pulled from the text. Here's what I wrote. At first, I thought the theme was that jealousy hurts people, but I think it's more than that. The kids see Margot's memory of the sun as almost a crime against them, like she is doing this to them. So, I want to write more about this, but I wasn't sure how to keep going. And then I referred to our chart from yesterday, prompts to push writers to speculate about themes in text. So I think I'm going to try using a prompt like consequently or maybe, or I might even use this is significant because, and that will keep me going so that I can say more. Consequently, their jealousy is so big and so painful that they can't see that Margot is just a little kid who lived on Earth longer. This is significant because their jealousy makes it so they can't see anything but their own hurt. Maybe that is something the text is teaching us too, that jealousy makes you blind to other people. Or maybe it is that jealousy makes you selfish. I like how I went from jealousy can hurt people to jealousy can make you selfish and blind to other people. That feels like a more interesting idea to examine. I hope you saw that I took some steps that you could try as well. First, I chose a few scenes that were critical to the idea I was analyzing. Then I reread one scene closely, thinking about how the theme worked in this one episode. And then, of course, I wrote long about my thinking in hopes that my thinking would go even further. So why don't you practice on another part of All Summer in a Day before you work on your own text? I picked out another critical scene that seemed to fit this idea of jealousy hurting people. It's the last scene, the one where the kids realize what they have done to Margot by locking her in the closet. As I read, think about how the theme is working in this part. Will it be 7 more years? Yes, 7. Then one of them gave a little cry. Margot! What? She's still in the closet where we locked her. Margot! They stood as if someone had driven them, like so many stakes, into the floor. They looked at each other and looked away. They glanced out at the world that was raining now, and raining steadily. They could not meet each other's glances. Take a few minutes to respond in your writing notebook. You might want to start with the emotions or traits that the problems might bring out in people. That's a good way to begin. You can ask yourselves, what does jealousy make people feel in this bit? Saying more might help you have better ideas. Remember our thought prompts. They can make you think more powerful. Prompts to push writers to speculate about themes in a text. Use some of these prompts in your writing and then think, why does this matter in this story? Go ahead and pause the video while you take a few notes in your writing notebook. Writers, don't forget to put a title on your page so that you know what these notes and what your ideas are from, and date the top of your page. When you're done with this activity, go back to the lesson platform for your next task.